your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
No real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and first-timer on Ron Siegel Radio. Dr. Howard Polansky is with us. Welcome, Doc.
Thank you, Ron. And just for future reference, call me Howard since I don't practice anymore.
Okay, well, I'll call you Howard. Glad to have you with us. Hey, and let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. We love celebrating. Today is National Bagel Day. Now, I have beaten anorexia, so I like bagels. I am a connoisseur of bagels. Now, if you are here in the Southern California area, I'll just say it because, like, I've tried most of them. Shirley's Bagels makes the best bagels. And if you go to Shirley's early in the morning, you can get them right as they're freshly made, still hot out of the ovens. And, you know, they go with the everything bagel for me. Question of the day, Josh, what's your favorite bagel? Let's should have given that to him earlier, but I had some computer problems. What is your favorite bagel? Put it into the chat. If you're listening to us on any of our social channels, we'll see it right here, right now. If you're listening on ABC News and Talk, AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feed, yell at the radio. We will hear it. Yes, I know you don't think that happens, but we can hear you. We're always listening. So what is your favorite bagel? And like I say, everything bagel is the one for me. It's also National Strawberry Ice Cream Day. Strawberry ice cream. Are you a strawberry ice cream person? That would be a negatory for me. I'm not a fan of strawberry ice cream. Probably the only, I like, if it's ice cream, it's got to have chocolate, doesn't it? Chocolate peanut butter would be my favorite in that one. But, having been on this weight loss journey, I'm not eating much in the way of bagels. I'm not eating much in the way of ice cream. I was just listening to a big-time restaurateur from here in Orange County, and it's fascinating. Now, I'm not in the restaurant business. I'm in funny business. I'm a lending team, but so here, it's fascinating to me listening to what he had to say because the restaurant business is changing. Why? Because of GLP-1s. Yes, the weight loss shots. So one of the things that he does, which, again, not being in the business, I would have never thought of this. So he watches the plates that are being cleared off the table. Why does he watch the plates being cleared off the table? He finds out what people are eating, what they're leaving, what they like, what they don't like, based on what's left on the plate. He said it used to be that, you get some proteins left, you get some vegetables left, you'd see some ketchup. Now it's the carbs that are being left over. And, people are spending more. Why? That baffled me. They're spending more. Apparently they're not going out to eat as much at the fast food restaurants. So when they go out to eat, they want good stuff. and they want the protein-based items. Fascinating. So the restaurants, the higher-end restaurants, apparently are doing a little bit better. And oh, by the way, for those of us that do indulge from time to time, he said the drink of choice right now is plain tequila or tequila on ice or tequila with a little bit of soda water, but they're very particular on the sodium content. You know, you never know when you're listening to some of these things where they're going with it. But that is our celebrations. And if you want to follow the journey, 118 pounds down as of this morning. So, and my son just came back and said that he's down 60 this morning. So these things have been very, very good to us. And we're going to continue there. Let's see what the markets are doing today. We're looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 439 points. That's good. The NASDAQ is up 241. S&P 500 is up 59.68. Oil. Wow, oil's down $3 a barrel. Do you think it might have anything to do with Venezuela? There's two issues going on there. One of them, I'm sure, has got to do with Venezuela. So the U.S. just completed a transfer of $500 million, I think they said, to Venezuela for oil purchases. Yes, that was sold on the open market, so it creates some stability. And apparently now, I don't know, it's hard to, you don't believe anything that comes out of Iran or Russia or some of these countries, but supposedly from vetted sources, Iran is not going through with some of the killings that they were talking about. That's good news. So we're seeing some stability in the Middle East. So that's probably why we're seeing that oil price down at $58.96 a barrel. Now, sorry, Californians, it's not going to help us. We like taxes. We like fees. So our average for a gallon of gasoline, $4.21 a gallon of gasoline, $4.21 here in the formerly Golden State. Now, Howard's over there in Texas. You just must be laughing at us. $2.40 a gallon?
I just filled up last night for about $2.05 a gallon.
$2.05. Okay, so $2 a gallon cheaper than what we're paying here. $2, half of what we pay in California. That's enough to make a Californian ill. But you know something? California obviously likes these high prices. Why do I say that we obviously like it? Because we keep voting for the same people who put these taxes and fees on us. Now, the governor has woken up just a little bit because he's going against this wealth tax that they're trying to put in. Maybe that's because we've had the billionaires are all leaving the state. Chevron just said they're leaving the state. The governor didn't even want to. Now, don't be fooled by this governor. He's as slick as they come. So why is he saying he's against the wealth tax now? Because he's running for president. And he knows that he won't get the support of anybody outside of the loony state that we have here by a wealth tax. There's never been a tax that Governor Newsom didn't like. So don't be fooled by him. Unbelievable. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we are going to learn about cash flow. And yes, you know that I love cash flow. That's one of the things we talk about here on Ron Siegel Radio all the time. We're going to also, are big investors really buying up all the homes? We'll give you the truth about that as well. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564 Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564. Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at RonIsMyLender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. RonIsMyLender.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Do you believe Southern California real estate is a great investment? Are you a little short to be a cash investor? Are you missing the Social Security card or tax returns? The Siegel Lending Team has the loans for you. Common Sense Lending is back. Yes, there's a cost to higher risk, but the reward can be great. Call today for details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 217037, and DRE number 1869452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. And every day at this time, OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They do not tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the important number. That's the one you put in your mortgage calculator to figure out what your principal and interest payment will be. And if you don't have a mortgage calculator, go check out our suite of calculators, rsrlinks.com/calculators. There's over 60 calculators in there. Yes, 60. One of them does happen to be a mortgage calculator that'll tell you what your principal and interest payment will be. It'll even look and see if it makes sense for you to change the mortgage you have to a new mortgage. It doesn't have my favorite mortgage in there, gethomeselect.com, but it does have a calculator dealing with that. We have to walk you through that one a little bit. What did rates do yesterday? And again, this is according to OBMMI. Mixed bag, conventional, 30-year fix, 6.02, down just a tick. Jumbo 30-year fix, 6.344. FHA 30-year fix, 5.92. My favorite, the VA 30-year fixed, 5.67. Thank you to all the men and women who are serving or who have served in our armed forces. We couldn't do what we do if it wasn't for you. USDA 30-year fix, 5.893. And the Home Select, well, it's the highest interest rate that we offer, lowest interest expense. Check that out. Expense is more important than rate. If you want our thoughts about the market, we put that into our Ron Siegel Radio community, rsrlinks.com/HBOD, rsrlinks.com/HBOD. And that's where you can go and get that information. What are rates doing today? What's the market doing today? The S&P 500 is now up 56.44. 10-year Treasury up 2.5 basis points, 4.157. And the 30-year bond down 18 basis points. Why is the bond down 18 basis points? We told you this previously. I told you that when we get these blips that come up in the market, when we get these opportunities where rates are improving, how long will it last? Well, in the last few years, it's been a very, very short window. So you got to watch and take action because, like I say, it's a short time. And as we see the bond down right now, it's a seesaw. When the bond goes down, the rate goes up. It's just mathematics. And that has to do with the fact that today we got some jobless numbers. So the market now, you know, the ones that are bright, they realize that, you know, the Fed's got this dual mandate, price stability. Now, they've translated that into a 2% increase in interest in inflation. Stability means it's stable, not moving a whole heck of a lot. And we have seen that happening. So that's in the good news part of it. Now, it also has maximum employment. Well, everything we see says we don't have maximum employment, but then we look at some of the numbers that come out of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It says here that we're looking at jobless claims of 198,000 when they were expecting 215,000. Okay, so it fell 9,000 to a very low number. This figure continues to remain stubbornly low and underscores the low fire and low hire environment. Continuing claims of those that continue to receive benefits after their initial claim fell 19,000. 1,884,000 people are still unable to find a job or unwilling to find a job. Remember, this report looks back 2 weeks. It is now including the New Year's holiday, which typically causes lower readings. We expect this number to jump back above 1.9 million in the next couple of weeks. Cotality released their single-family rent index, which showed that single-family rents rose 1.1% year over year in November. This is the weakest pace in 15 years, but is only new single family. Multifamily rent growth has been negative, and when combined with renewal rents that are going up around 3%, rents are really only increasing by about 1% on an annual basis. That means while inflation has been coming down, partly due to shelter figures slowly decelerating, there is more room to go. The CPI and PCE reports are showing rents above 3%, which means they are still overstating inflation. As inflation continues to moderate, bonds will react positively, and the Fed will be more inclined to cut rates. Why are they always so slow in dealing with that from the Fed standpoint or the Bureau of Labor Statistics standpoint? Well, here's the fact of the matter. They only look at 1/6 of the country each month. Now, that goes back decades and decades when we didn't have the technology we have now. That's why their numbers are always so far off, is because they're not using current technology. Why can't they poll the entire country? It doesn't take that much in the way of technology where they're only doing 1/6 of the country now. Unbelievable that we still get bad data from that. And people wonder, why do I refer to it as the BS report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics? Because they're not keeping up with the times. And if we can look at some of these numbers, if Cotality can provide us some of these numbers, The federal government has a much bigger budget than any of us. Why aren't they looking at the same things that the rest of the world can look at? Just a question from a local radio show host. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. So we are privileged this morning. We have Dr. Howard Polansky, started his career as a dentist. Now, it's kind of interesting. When I heard that Howard is a dentist, I said, one of the last people, in most instances, I generalize, one of the last people we go to for financial and business advice is doctors, right? And then you start listening to Howard. He and I had an extended conversation earlier in the week, and we're talking about, some of his philosophies and things that he's doing. I'm saying, how could he be a dentist? Well, now I look at his biography. He stopped doing that in 2018. So welcome to the broadcast, Howard.
Thank you, Ron. Good to be here.
Glad to have you with us. And also served in the Navy as well. Thank you for that as well. So veteran, you got the whole thing going, veteran, dentist, and now you're in the world of finance and helping people get out of debt. So tell us a little bit, how did you go? How did that journey take place?
So let me just go straight to the story in terms of the transition. Because I tell people now, sometimes life leaves you little clues and other times life hits you with the 2x4. My 2x4 moment was Sunday morning, Memorial Day weekend, 2018. Jaden, my older son, is 12 years old. I'm sitting next to his bed. He realizes I'm there and he says, "Dad." His voice is barely above a whisper. "Yeah, buddy." I lean over the bed. I put my ear over his mouth to make sure I can hear him. And he says 3 words I'll never forget. "Am I dying?"
Whoa.
12 days earlier, Jaden came home with a stomach ache. 3 days after the stomach ache, we're in the ICU at the Children's Hospital having emergency surgery. It was appendicitis that turned septic. 29 days in the hospital, 19 of them in the ICU, 8 straight days of sedation because he went to the operating room 5 times. After they take the tube out of his throat, they give him methadone and morphine to bring him down from the drugs he was on. Imagine your child looks like a heroin addict coming down from a high, and the very first question they will only ask you are those 3 little words. Am I dying?
Wow. That kind of hits, just listening to it hits you between the eyes.
Yeah, it certainly did me. After telling Jaden, "No, you're not dying. You had prayers from thousands of people all around the world and you're going to be just fine." He looks at me. He knows I'm telling him the truth. He closes his eyes to get more rest. I walk outside the room and then I broke. I was already miserable. I was burnt out from dentistry after 16 years and I was taking it out on everyone around me. But when I broke, only one thought seared into my mind. If life is this fragile and I'm unhappy with the path that I'm on, burn the ships, it's over. And that's what I did. I sold my practice September 2018, walked away. No plan, just walked away.
Wow. So that's what 4 months, 3 months from that thought to just changing everything, the whole world.
Yeah. And it was a massive identity shift in terms of the next year of dismantling all of that, which we can have a different discussion a different day about that. But yeah.
Wow. I mean, something, I've been doing this show for 15 years. I don't think I've been speechless very often, but that's one that'll really get you. So you go from this 2x4 that hits you in the head, made the decision to change your entire life course. I'm assuming your son is doing well.
Yes, everything worked out. He's now 20. He's healthy. No long-term health issues. Yes, knock on wood, everything is good.
Wow. Well, that's, I guess the moral, the The end of that's part of the story. The important story. That's the book. You can when I think of things like this, I do this radio show and we talk about all kinds of business things and financial things and anything that affects the roof over somebody's head or their bank account. But nothing is more important than when you're talking about kids and dealing with that. So, I'm gonna collect my thoughts, and we're gonna go to a break real quick, and then we're gonna come back more with Howard Polanski. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Are big investors really buying up all the homes? We'll tell you the truth about that. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564. Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at RonIsMyLender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. RonIsMyLender.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less? All without having to spend more each month than you spend right now. Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
We're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Great tool. If you're not getting our information at rsrmoney.com, you're missing out. It's an AI tool that gives you the numbers on your most people, the largest investment they have. Their real estate, rsrmoney.com. Are big investors really buying up all the homes? Here's the truth. Hard to scroll online lately without seeing some version of this claim, quote, big investors are buying up all the homes, unquote. And honestly, if you're a home buyer who's lost out on a few offers, that idea probably sounds believable. When homes are expensive and competition is tight, it's easy to assume giant companies are scooping everything up behind the scenes. But here's the thing. What people assume is happening and what the data actually shows are not always the same. Let's look at what really happening when large institutional investors in today's housing market, because the numbers tell a much different story than the headlines. The number most people won't see online. That's why you listen to Ron Siegel Radio. Let's start with the most important stat. According to John Burns Research and Consulting, large institutional investors, those that own 100 or more homes, made up just 1.2% of all home purchases in the third quarter of 2025. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials or the ABC News and Talk, AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feeds, you are seeing a chart showing the big investors are a small part of the market. That's it. Out of every 100 homes sold, only about one went to a large institutional investor. And here's an important point that often gets missed. That level of investor activity is very much in line with historic norms. It's not usually high, and it's actually well below the recent peak of 3.1% back in 2022, which itself was still a small share of the overall market. So, while it can feel like big investors are everywhere, nationally, they're a very small part of overall home sales. There are two main reasons this topic gets so much attention. Number one, investor activity isn't spread evenly. Investors are more active in certain markets, which can make competition feel intense for home buyers in those areas. As Lance Lambert, co-founder of Resi Club, explains, on a national level, large investors, those owning at least 100 single-family homes, only own around 1% of total single-family housing stock. That said, in a handful of regional housing markets, institutional and large single-family landlords have a much larger presence. Number two, investor and broad term. Investor is a broad term. Part of what makes the share of purchases bought by investors sound so big is because many headlines lump large Wall Street institutions together with small local investors, like your neighbor who owns one or two rental homes. But those are very different buyers. In reality, most investors are small, local owners, not massive corporations. And when all investors get grouped together in the headlines as a single stat, it inflates the number and makes it seem like big institutions are dominating the market, even though they're not. Yes, big investors exist. Yes, they buy homes. But nationally, they're responsible for a very small share of total purchases, far smaller than most people assume. The bigger challenges around affordability have much more to do with supply and demand and years of underbuilding than with large institutions competing against everyday buyers. That's why it's so important to separate noise from reality, especially if you're trying to decide if now is the right time to move. Bottom line, if you want to talk through what investor activity actually looks like in our local market and how it impacts your options or doesn't, give me a call at 800-306-1990. I've got the report cards for every area. We've got the market report for you. Sometimes a little context makes all the difference in the world. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Continue our conversation this morning. Dr. Howard Polansky is with us. He's got a lot of formers in his past life. We're going to talk now about the current environment. And, so we've kind of gotten the last segment, got hit between the eyes with how you got to doing what you're doing. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing now.
So to continue the story, as I'm transitioning out of dentistry, I'm speaking with another dentist who asked the question of how are you walking away? Because maybe your audience knows, maybe it doesn't. To become a dentist, you take on a ton of debt, a ton of student loan debt, buying a building, buying a practice, et cetera, et cetera. And I told him I kind of figured out how to make money move. Now, he gave me that Scooby-Doo look. I didn't do well explaining what I was doing, but a few weeks later, I got the next statement in the mail for my house payment. I take a picture of it. I sent it to him as a joke. I said, hey, take a look at this. My house payment was $24.19.
Wow.
And all he can do is write back and say, I see it. I still don't get it. I'm buying a condo next month. Can you teach me? And I said, I guess so. Well, he paid off that condo in 8 months instead of 30 years. And so he tells his business partner, I tell a friend of mine what happened, skip a few years, this is what I do. And to get to the nuts and bolts of it, I show people how to use lines of credit in a strategic, efficient fashion to be able to pay off debts faster, whether that is your house, whether that's cars, whether that's student loans, or if you own a business, how do you get that debt out of the way? So that payment that is going out every 30 days to the bank now stays in your pocket.
So I understand the house one because we talk about the wealth builder loan that we work on all the time. Student loan debt, you can do this with as well.
Well, if you get set up with your house, a line of credit, and start to play the arbitrage game, then yes, you can chunk down your student loans, or depending upon the size, just sweep it all out. And when you start to see the math, and Ron, you are really good with math with that specific loan you're talking about, as you mentioned to people, it looks ugly on the outside, but it is the most beautiful mortgage you can get if the numbers work.
Something, it's funny that you say that because when I talk to people about the loan and when we've done shows about the loan, my comment is it's the highest interest rate, most expensive loan that we offer that has the lowest interest expense. And do you care about an interest rate or do you care about an interest expense? And, when you go and explain that to people and explain, what the difference is, it's amazing, isn't it?
Well, 100%. I mean, the simple example in terms of how I show the system, I'm using the example of a car payment that's at a 0% interest rate, and then utilizing a line of credit at 10% and walking through the numbers. But it always breaks people's brains because they're like, why would I get rid of something that has a 0% interest rate? And you just referenced it. You don't pay an interest rate. You pay a payment. So just because you have a 0% interest rate does not mean it's a $0 payment. There's still an outflow of cash every 30 days. And when you really look at the macro level, all you care is where is the money going out and how do I stop that leak?
That's fascinating. So when you're talking to folks about this, are you suggesting to work that car expense into the home loan?
Yes. Yeah. If it's an open-ended tool where you can utilize all of your income against your expenses, and even with the higher interest rate because of a line of credit, when you start to understand the math and start to understand the system, you're manipulating the balance of the debt. And that's the whole thing, is that banks are magicians. They say, look over here, look at the interest rate. But it's really the balance of the debt the interest rate is applied to that matters more. And that's what affects how much interest you actually have to pay.
That's, and the way you put it, it makes it so simple to understand because, I talk that, if you have a 30-year fixed rate loan, it's going to take 22, 23 years to pay half of it. Yet if you put it into the line of credit, you've already paid off the whole thing in half that time.
Yeah, it drives me nuts when people say, I don't want to get rid of my mortgage because it's at 3%. I'm like, do you understand the first 5 to 6 years, 55 to 60% of your payment is not helping you? No,
Right.
No one ever looks at the actual numbers behind it. They're just like, got that 3%. It was like, there's a different way to play the game.
And it's interesting you say that because I do have a fraternity brother that we did move from a 2.875 30-year loan into the Wealth Builder loan. And when we put it in the simulator, that's where we came up with the idea that, something, your interest expense is going to drop and you're going to be paid off in about 6 years, and then all of a sudden he gets an inheritance, and holy cow, it's even quicker than that because now he can do everything and he's got no payment at all and he's still got income coming in. We're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Howard Polansky on how you're making money work for you instead of you work for money. We'll talk more when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564. Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
We're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Borrow Smart segment today being brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com. GetHomeSelect.com. Yes, it is the absolute best home loan on the market if you qualify. Now, like I've said before, it has the highest interest rate, has the highest fees. It saves you more money than anything you can possibly ever imagine. And you can be out of debt in 6 years, 8 years, 10 years. I just did one, an effective interest rate that we modeled for somebody, 1.76% interest. 1.76% was the effective interest rate. And I hear it all the time. Ron, I've got a 3% mortgage. Why would I ever want to change that? Well, I'm not sure you do want to change it. What I would say to you is if you could change it to something better, why wouldn't you? And if you watch the video, rsrlinks.com/3PCT, rsrlinks.com/3PCT. Why is that 3% mortgage killing you? I see people all the time. They've got a 3% mortgage. They've got boatloads of equity. They're paying on average 22.84% interest on a bunch of credit cards. They're paying 7% interest on their student loans. They've got auto debt. And now they're gone to these buy now, pay later loans. But I've got a 3% mortgage. Aren't I good? And I said, yeah, you're good as long as you like to keep the banks happy. Are you getting by the way, are you getting a thank you note from the bank? I don't think you are. So watch out for those things. Borrow smart. Go and watch our whole series at gethomeselect.com, gethomeselect.com. Continuing our conversation today, we are chatting. There's not a whole lot of people in the world that I talk to that really understand the way this works. Dr. Howard Polansky has been, 2018 you started with this stuff, huh? Okay.
Correct.
2018. So how do you use a line of credit different, and how do you market it?
So I am not marketing the Wealth Builder loan per se. It's just the concept of a line of credit, because the whole key to this is that it's an open-ended tool. I mean, Ron, you probably know where the term mortgage comes from, right?
No, I actually never looked at it.
It is two French words put together meaning death pledge.
Oh, gotta love that one.
Yeah.
Death pledge.
Right. I mean, think about it. The mortgage is a one-way street. The money goes in. You can't get the money out of the titanium safe. And so you have a mortgage and an amortization table, both with the root word MORT, like mortuary and mortician. And so the system is set up for you to make payments until the day you die, or you're going to die trying. But now when you have this line of credit, you have this open-ended tool where you put the money in, but you can get the money back out tomorrow. I mean, and that's the key with your Wealth Builder loan, that you're not sharing that important part of it, is that you're paying down the debt, and every dollar that you are paying down the principal on, you still have access to. Whether it's the Wealth Builder loan, or there are times that I will tell people, we're going to keep the mortgage, but you have so much equity, let's get a line of credit in second position so that we don't have the entire balance fluctuating on a higher interest rate, because sometimes it just doesn't make economic sense to do it. But whenever we can grab access to money, oh yeah, we're doing that for sure.
So can you do this with business as well?
100% yes. The very first business I did this with was a dental practice because of my history. They had $800,000 of practice debt that was going to cost them $12,000 a month for the next 7.5 years.
Wow.
We paid all of that off in 7 months, and utilizing the line of credit, it only cost them $500. So imagine $500 in the cost of the actual line of credit. That was the total interest to pay off the $800,000 7 years earlier and have an extra $12,000 a month of your favorite term cash flow.
Wow, that's just it baffles the mind when people get it, right? I mean, because I hear so many people that come to us and they say, well, I want to be mortgage free. I want to have my house free and clear. And you just have to wonder sometimes why.
Well, and that's a level 2 conversation. Usually I have to lead people when I am working with someone, I'm leading them towards being debt free because I have to lead them in a direction. But once they start to understand how the system works and how to play the game, then level 2 is exactly what you're getting to is now we can start to play arbitrage the way that the banks do it to us. Yeah, we'll have to borrow the money out at 7%, let's say, but if we can find an opportunity that we're going to earn 10, 12, 15%, yeah, you're going to do that every single day. It's the same exact concept. It's just that we finally are able to flip the script.
Now, do you have the tools? I mean, I know where they are, but do you have the tools to get that arbitrage, that higher interest rates or higher returns?
I don't specifically tell people where to invest. I am just free up the money so that they can invest because everyone's got their own risk tolerance, Ron. And so I don't tell people where to choose. It could be just paying down the mortgage. It could be in the stock market. It could be in other rental properties. It could be back into their own business. Wherever they feel comfortable, I'm going to let them do it. But do we have the money available? And now we know how to pay ourselves back quickly. That's the most important part of this.
You know, I can imagine, think about this because I talk a lot to people. And again, I don't do this anymore. I had my licenses years ago, so I'm not giving any financial advice here. But, you know, you take money out of a wealth builder, put it into a life insurance policy that's very, very safe and secure. Watch that grow while you're still putting money back into the wealth builder through your current income. And now you've got a whole nother retirement vehicle that's growing at the same time.
It's so in that example, I would say the wealth builder is your checking account, and now a life insurance policy is your savings account. And that, yes, you are building now a brand new asset where instead of the asset being a piece of real estate, the asset is you.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? So how long does this take you to put this all together when you're working with it sounds like you work predominantly with dentists.
Mostly, but it can be anyone that has debt, which I know just sounds like, well, everyone does. But for people who are just so tired in terms of, I go to work and all it feels like I'm doing is the money comes in, the money goes out. I don't know where the money goes. I don't feel like I have any buffer. Like I'm exhausted. Like, can someone show me where the money went? That's my audience. Most of them tend to be dentists because, as I said, there's a ton of debt and it weighs on you. And so wherever we can grab a line of credit to be able to start to play the game, that's where we're going to go. Could be a business line of credit, can be a home equity line of credit, can be the life insurance policy, as you mentioned. Some people have a pretty healthy stock portfolio. You can get a line of credit against that, and we can do the exact same thing.
Fascinating how there's a ways to do things. It's just, again, it's for those that are informed on how to do it. How long does it take you to implement a plan with somebody?
It's if someone says yes, and then we finally get the bank approval to have a line of credit in place, it normally takes the first 30 days to kind of get the whole schedule going. And then it's at that 60 to 90 day mark, once they see how the dance is occurring, that it just clicks. And you're like, oh my God, I wish I knew this 10 years ago, 20 years ago. My life would be completely different because the light bulb just exploded in your head.
So if our audience wants to reach out to you or to connect with you, what's the best way of connecting or engaging with you?
Yeah. So financiallyled.com, led.com/ebook. You can grab the ebook there, or if you forget that homepage, go all the way to the bottom of the page. You can grab the ebook down there as well.
financiallyled.com/ebook. Now, as I tell everybody all the time on Ron Siegel Radio, I know you're driving in some instances, you're scrolling in some instances. If you don't get it while we're live on air today, I'm going to tell you, I know where to get a hold of Howard. So just give us a call at our office, and we can put you in touch with Howard so he can help you with this. We only have a lot of time left. Well, I guess Josh just told me we don't have time left, but we're going to have you come back and share with us some more of the impact that you're seeing with people. Because, you know, obviously stories are always the most impactful. And you told us about, someone getting rid of $800,000 in debt. I can only imagine what a whole bunch of doctors and dentists could do with just having a brief conversation with you. So we'll have to have you come back on again, Howard. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you sharing with our audience. And again, the product that we have this under, Wealth Builder, gethomeselect.com, gethomeselect.com. Go get Howard's book, financiallyled.com/ebook. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.